Jamie Lee Curtis went on TV and said, I hope they take his children away from him.
Wow.
I hope they take his children away from him. Everybody they put out, Triple X, Tupac, that's what Larry was saying.
Right.
My response was, well, I guess I'm next then.
Right.
Because it's no backing down at this point.
What up, what up, what up? This is your shadow band master, Mike the Philosopher, here with Sean B and Black Mellow. Okay. And today's topic is very interesting. It is your boy Ye. Okay. Now, Ye has been in the news. He's been just all over the news due to his antics, I guess you could say. How much, well, let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this, Black. Kanye West said that he's been accused of having some anti-Semitic commentary, right? And there's a lot of people who, even, Black artists, that really kind of disagree with him. I guess what I want to know from you is do you think that Kanye is handling this in the best way?
Well, I think Kanye is doing exactly what he needs to do to stay relevant, for one thing. And I think he's real creative at pushing buttons and saying exactly what is going to get under everybody's skin. So even though on some level, from his explanation, I don't see nothing tragically wrong with what he said, to be honest.
Now,
I mean, with the George Floyd thing, I don't think he was accurate with that statement, but ultimately about being Jews, like us being Jews, he wasn't wrong about that. He's not anti-Semitic for saying that.
Right.
We Jews too. I mean, we are Jews. Like, they're not even Jews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what he was saying is that African Americans are the original Jews, and that he can't be anti-Semitic because that will be like hating on himself.
I talked to Q because Q been labeled an anti-Semite. First of all, we are Semite. We right. Jew, so I can't be anti-Semite. Right. First of all, with the darker Jews. First of all, because you gotta.
It just happens when anybody starts talking deep.
Okay. Yeah. With the darker Jews, the 12 lost tribes of Israel, who we are, because we Jewish also. We from Africa also. We the blood of Christ. So we're not just black. We are Jew, just like the Jewish people. And now we're coming into money. But the main thing is, I got to drink the Douce over the Hennessy as the first step to us coming together, like how the Jewish people came together.
It is an absolute 100% categoric fact that we are the lost tribes of Israel. We are the Jews. It is literally us. We're the only ones who don't have a culture. We're the only ones who don't have a language. We're the only ones who don't have our own God. Chinese people worship a God that looks like them. The Hindus worship a God that looks like them. The Arabs worship a God that looks like them. Black people worship a God that looks like the man that oppressed us. That's how you know we are lost. We are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. There's 100,000 more examples I could bring up, but for time's sake, just know he did not lie. We are, and it's not even Semitic, is pronounced Shemitic because it comes from the loins of Shem. Shem was a literal man that lived and he had descendants. So it makes you Shemitic, not Semitic.
Right, but to just to keep everybody on the same page, we're going to use anti-Semitic for right now because that's what the word they're using. So let's just use the word that they're using to keep everybody on the same page.
Here's a question.
What's
He
that?
went out and said that, oh, we're the Jews, right? Which would indicate to me his knowledge of the Bible. And if we have a similar understanding, he knows that slavery for the Jews was not an option. This is something that so it's hard for me personally to take him serious when on one hand you say, oh, slavery was an option. You should have jumped off the boat and basically chose death over slavery, but then you turn around and say this. And so it's like, where are you really?
That's a good point, Sean. Ye is very contradictory in a lot of his stuff that he says. He kind of swings hard on both sides of the fence, it seemed like to me. I don't know if y'all noticed, but him and Candace Owens did a fashion show with the t-shirt, White Lives Matter.
We made the White Lives Matter tees, and then when I put up the tweet, the DEF CON tweet, nah, he ain't releasing the tee because he's Jewish. And I'm like, see, this is my exact point that I'm making. Like, Jewish people have owned the Black voice, whether it's through us wearing a Ralph Lauren shirt, or it's all of us being signed to a record label, or having a Jewish manager, or being signed to a Jewish basketball team, or doing a movie on a Jewish platform like Disney. And we understand it's like, I respect what the Jewish people have done and how they brought their people together.
Now, did y'all see that?
Yeah.
That surprised me.
I just saw the still shot.
Yeah. He did a fashion show and had the White Lives Matter. Now he claimed it was more of a joke. It was more of a sarcastic play on it. When I believe, I'm not sure, but Candace Owens convinced him of putting it on, so he put it on. He said it was because he was being sarcastic, but I don't think that was her play. I think she actually meant that. So they both put the shirt on with two different ideologies, Now, again, I'm not in their heads, so I could be wrong about that. But from what Kanye's explanation was, his reasoning was to be sarcastic, because he said he knew that it was, it was controversial, but it was something that was more sarcastic than it was literal. But when you're looking at stuff like that and you put that in the fashion show and everything like that, people are not going to catch on your sarcasm. They're going to read the shirt and they're going to come to their own conclusions.
Yeah, but you got to think, man. Kanye is arguably an artist. So all artists use artistic, exemptions and creativity to their advantage, to the point where they're being creative and they feel like they don't have to explain their art to you. It's whatever you get from the art. So him being a so-called genius in music and genius in fashion, as people calling him, I don't refer to him like that. I think he's a genius at controversy and genius at marketing
and getting people's attention.
get people's riled up and all of that. I
Getting
think
there. Yeah, he is a genius at that. He gives people attention. It was said, and they said this in the podcast of Drink Champs, that he was at one time the richest black man in the country.
Well, right now he is.
Yeah.
Right now he's the richest, according to him, and I don't know what other sources are out there, but from what he said in an interview, he's worth 11 billion.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I haven't
too.
verified that, but that would make him the richest black man in American history.
Yeah, I don't know where that number came from. It's just amazing to me, man. How in the world he passed up Jay-Z and Jordan?
No, he lapped all of them by 3-4 fold.
And how did he do? Like, Jordan's been out for so long, man.
Fashion,
I mean, it can't be just about the shoes.
No, but it's like, I don't know what it is. I wish I did, but it's definitely his Adidas deal. You know, his deal with Adidas was very lucrative, and he you know, yeah, he that dude over there.
Now, yeah. Now, here's another spin on it. Balenciaga just canceled him. He's no longer working with Balenciaga.
Well, yeah, he said he was walking away from them because he's not going to argue with nobody broker than him.
You know, the thing is, all his clothes that he put out sold out.
You see, and that's the cold part about it.
Yeah, because he said that, well, the article I read said the Gap sold out of everything Kanye. Every time he came out with something, they sold out. They said he brought a whole new demographic to the Gap.
Of course.
And they just sold out every time. So they made him ridiculous money.
Yeah.
He made them ridiculous money is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But they still canceled him. Sean, your camera. I don't know what's going on with your camera, man.
But did you see the actual clothes?
I haven't really seen the actual clothes.
Well, I believe, and I could be corrected by whoever knows in the comments or whatever, but it looked like he was designing trash bags.
I'm surprised, man.
Yeah, it was literal trash bags.
I think
he just put the name on it.
I think where we at is where Kanye West realized that he can do or say literally whatever, right? Like, for example, when he first dropped his shoes, there was a lot of controversy behind that because people were like, look at these, like they look like space shoes, like they look different, right? And it took a while to set in, right?
And then your camera. I don't know what's going on with you. Yeah, there you go.
My bad, I'm holding it. My bad. But a little bit later down the line, he came up with lyrics, poop-de scoop, scoop-de poop, poop-de scoop.
Right.
And people ate that up and tried to digest that and say, oh, well, there's artistic value even within that. So it doesn't surprise me that in today's time, he's saying very controversial things, going back and forth on both sides of the fence for these very controversial topics, right? But one thing we know is controversy brings in money, right? And so when it comes to knowing that you can do or say whatever you want and it's going to bring in money, it just kind of has to be centered around controversy. I think that's kind of where we at, right?
Let me ask you this, Sean.
Yeah.
Is Kanye crazy? Yes or no? And if so, why? If not, why? Is Kanye crazy? Or let's just call him Ye. I'm gonna respect him. His name changed. Is Ye crazy?
No. I mean, anyone, I'll put it like this. You can, well, I was about to say something. Listen, in my book, Kanye seems like what we said earlier. He's a genius in controversy. It seems as though he is about his money. And so, again, when it comes down to it, controversy brings money, right? And so it's like, the reason I say he's about his money is obviously, he was a rapper, right? But then he went entrepreneur and bought out a clothing line and, shoes and got into a bunch of different things. And he also married into a super rich family, the Kardashians, right? So from there, there was trouble early on, right? Where he, supposedly filed bankruptcy, or like it was trouble in the water financially. But then while he was with them, he went to this billionaire status. But also while he was with them is when he discovered, like I said, he could do whatever he want to do. Poop-de scoop, scoop-de poop, write it on a shirt. I'm selling it. So right now, it does not surprise me that he's designing. I mean, I haven't even seen it, but I actually, it wouldn't surprise me to hear that he's designing garbage bags, calling it clothes, and saying, hey, here. Because when I saw the original clothes that he was designing with all of the tears and the torn sweaters, and it's like, oh, okay, so y'all like this, huh? Like, I mean, no shade. It's just not my style. You know what I mean?
I look. It's like the dude somehow. Some people, man, just seem like they got a Midas touch, man. I don't. It don't matter what they do. It just seems like they got a Midas touch.
I'm gonna say
Ye got a Midas touch.
I'm gonna say something controversial too, right? I'm gonna say something that a lot of people might not like, but I think this is the same model that the government follows. I'm gonna be 100,000 with you. It's like the worse we do, the better we look, right? And I first heard this motto, no cap. I first heard this motto when they were talking about what was the motto? It was something to do with Wall Street. Basically, Wall Street was scamming over taxpayers. They were using taxpayer funds, gambling with it, and just basically being irresponsible with the taxpayer dollars. This was in the early 2000s. And it was like, oh, Wall Street is terrible, down with Wall Street, and I guess I'm saying that to say that when I heard about that story and all of the financial things going on, it was like, well, the worse we do, the better off it is, sort of say, like, because nothing really stops. It's like it's almost no consequence, right? Like, kind of like with Kanye, right? Like he's obviously a black man. He creates this shirt that says "White Lives Matter." He knows not only his culture is going to be in uproar, but also the white community will be in uproar. Like, yeah, you damn right they matter. And not to say that they don't, but again,
yeah, because we've seen him put white people on pedestals a lot of times. Let me ask you, Black, same question. Is Ye crazy? Or is it a method to the madness?
No, you're not crazy at all. It's controversial too now. I believe Kanye already knows with his whatever contract he signed to become rich and famous. And you know what I'm talking about. The initial introductory rich and famous contract, a lot of people in the industry sign, and then people end up coming up short and around them in life, and you go to funerals and you don't know why they died, blah blah blah. All of these controversial people get propelled to have, to whatever the top of their industry is, whether it's acting, singing, rapping, dancing, whatever, basketball, whatever. These people have signed more than the contract that we know them to sign, in my opinion. So I'm saying all that to say, these people, Kanye being one of them, he knows when his due date is up. All of them have a calendar. All of them know, for the most part, all right, I only got so much time before they're gonna punch my clock, before the Reaper is gonna show up at my door. So what they do is they start escalating their personalities to the point where, like Nipsey, for example, Nipsey was always Nipsey. I was telling people about Nip 10 years ago, but nobody really knew who he was. But then more recently, I was saying it a little louder because his message changed. He went real positive. He was still talking greasy, street, crip, thug talk, money talk, but he was positive messaging. Now he's teaching people about finance and how to think like a businessman, how to be pro-Black. So he was real uplifting for the last couple years of his life. Same thing with Pac. Pac was real thuggish, in the beginning,
There was another
talk.
rapper too who recently passed. I don't know, it wasn't Pop Smoke. It was another guy. Dark skin, skinny guy.
Young Dolph.
Dolph. That's who it was.
I believe it was Young Dolph.
Yeah, he was.
For some reason, it's like these artists start becoming real likable to the masses, like real, like positive almost. Even though their character that got them to where they was real street, real greasy, grimy. But then they start cleaning up their act. And the second, no sooner than they start really trying to make amends for all their wrongdoings, they get killed accidentally, they overdose, they just die, whatever. And Kanye said something interesting in his interview. He said basically, they're gonna have to kill me. He said it more than once.
Yeah.
He said it more than twice. They gonna have to kill me.
So I want y'all to run up on me.
No.
I want y'all to come kill me.
No.
I want you to smack me.
No.
I want you to do all the shit you rap about.
No.
All the shit you rap about. I want you to come do it now. Come down to this joint right now, please. Or otherwise, shut the fuck up unless you was there when the Kardashians kidnapped my kids. You understand? Now go and get y'all some motherfucking business while we go and get free. Cause I'm Moses out here.
Come and kill me. He told him that.
I think
and I'm like, wow. You saying for one thing, he going up against the powers that be. And he's saying exactly what they don't want him to say. So that's one thing. But then he's saying, y'all come and kill me. They gonna have to kill me. He kept saying the same type of thing over and over. So it's like, to me, it was striking because you could hear it and be like, well, he just being kind. He just being Ye. He ain't really mean that.
I don't know, man. I think this guy is ready to. I don't think Ye is afraid of death. I heard him say, "It's all good with me. I'll be with my mother again." This guy is not afraid of death. That's why he keeps saying it.
Yeah.
Because he has this guy is walking with no fear. I mean, he don't fear money. He don't fear anything. Was it JP Morgan? They closed his account.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he said he pulled out, and I could be wrong on this number, but I thought he said 140 million.
150. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Out of JP Morgan. And that's a whole lot of cheddar cheese.
Yeah, and he said they still treated him like dirt. $150 million.
And which brings me to another question. My question to y'all is this: how difficult you think it is being the richest man a Black man in America? Do you think that it's going to be gravy, or do you think they're going to make it hard as hell on you in some kind of way? And let me ask you this: do you think to kind of destroy him mentally, there is a bit of a an agenda against him?
Not a conspiracy.
Well, I'm saying, because look, one thing I know about Kanye is this. In my opinion, Kanye has separation anxiety. he hates when people he loves leaves him. Okay, it happened with his mother, and it happened with Kim. He's still not over Kim. Okay,
No.
he even got a close relationship with his father, which he was estranged from a while. So all the people who are close to him, he tries to keep them close to him because he it's very painful for him. He has a bit of separation anxiety. He still claims her. He said, "We're only divorced on paper." That's it. I mean, he still consider her his wife. Not sure why well, I mean, that was his wife for a long time. So I can't say I don't know why he's still hung up on her, but she clearly has moved on to another guy who, only she would probably think is a better man than Ye. But I think the guy is really kind of going, I don't want to say crazy. That's too harsh of a word. I think the guy is being very emotional because he has a lot of pressure on him. Heavy is the crown. Okay.
So you don't think these moves are financially based? You don't think that all of this controversy and some of these statements that he's making have been for clickbait? I mean, we know you get paid off of YouTube, Instagram. We know you get paid off of fashion shows. And if you get it's like when he came out with the Donald Trump hat, the red cap. All of his, mostly of Kanye West supporters was like, whoa, what's that, right? But then a little while later, I've seen on Instagram, there was another guy who, wasn't even a celebrity, and he did the same thing. He put on a red cap, the same Trump supporter cap, but he wasn't a Trump supporter. And he was like, that basically this is the difference of treatment that I'm getting when I look like I'm representing what they believe in.
Yeah,
right?
and here's the thing. I noticed too that people like say for instance Trump, right? Trump said a whole bunch of stuff. Trump, he targeted a whole race. Mexicans, they all, R's and M's and this, that, and the third. Some people can get away with saying whatever they want to say. Yeah. And it seemed to help Trump. He gained followers, right? Which is kind of, he didn't get canceled on any level. But the black man, he gets canceled by the banks. He get canceled by the media. He gets canceled by companies who dropping them.
Hey, let me ask you this. Have you heard of the Good Old Boys Club?
Well, yeah, I heard the term before.
All right. Well, I think sometimes when you are a part of that, those type of rules apply, right? So I guess more or less what I'm trying to say is when you do worse at a certain job, or when you're in a certain position and you do worse, it does not even matter because of the connection and the ties that you have. And that kind of goes back to what, Black was saying about, his initial introduction into the game. But, I don't want to.
Yeah, it literally. Yeah, it's like if you know the agenda is to confuse people, distract people, those two are the biggest ones. If you know that's the program and you're very good at that, you're priceless, because it's necessary to divide and conquer the masses. So if you're very good at being a distractor, like we're talking about Kanye right now. Kanye ain't talking about Kanye right now. He's somewhere counting his money and, doing what he do, whatever that is. Probably designing clothes or shoes or whatever you do. But the bottom line is he got the whole internet in a buzz. Everybody want to know what's on his mind. he occupying real estate in everybody's mind right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, we need to be worrying about our finances. We need to be planning for our futures. He a 11 times billionaire right now. He ain't gonna, he can build a bunker in the middle of Namibia, whatever, if he wanted to. Like he ain't tripping. But all this time that we're wasting on these people who are so sensational for a hot second is kind of like the plan, because meanwhile they're rolling out political agendas and plans and passing laws that eventually everybody's going to have to start registering under this new financial system that's coming, cryptocurrency, financial social credit system that's coming. Everybody's going to have to get abreast of it and sign up. They're going to make it mandatory. They're making it to where they're passing laws right now where you can't grow your own crops at your house no more. They're passing laws like this, right? And we're not talking about that kind of stuff. We already can't collect rainwater. You know what I mean? Then you got this devastation all over the place. Like this is real stuff we need to be talking about.
Yeah, that's true. There's other things, but this is in the news right now, so that's why we're covering it. But let me ask you this, Black. This is a bit of a religious question. Do you think that Kanye sold his soul?
I mean, I don't know for sure. Me personally, I don't know for sure, but he literally said it on stage. There's actual videos of him saying, I sold my soul to the devil. I know it was a crappy deal, but at least it came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Wow. What do you think about that, Sean?
Toys like a Happy Meal, in case I ain't emphasize. Listen,
I mean, he became the richest black man.
Yeah.
This goes back. I mean, you ain't got to be the richest black man in America to even sell your soul. And that's the crazy part, right? This goes back all the way back to blues singers. I recall hearing something about James Brown having a song about that. You feel me? And that's way before my time. Like, it makes you wonder. That's what I'm gonna say. It really makes you wonder. Like all of these celebrity artists, and that's really what it is, right? Because we know little Joe from down the street and Christina from down the block who can sing, and we know all of these people who actually got talent from around the way, who actually put forth effort, but it only seems to be a select few. And then it's interesting how these select few, not some of them, but it seems like all of them nowadays, throw the subliminals out there or do something on stage at a concert like he just mentioned, where they say, hey, this is what I did, y'all. And we take it as a rap, like, oh, it's just music. Okay, maybe it's just music, but I mean, listen, in a job, when you go to a job, right? If your boss pick on you once, let's just say, I'm gonna give you a real example. If your boss pick on you, and you the only black man in your department, right? And it's like, all right, I'm doing everything right, but this is clearly wrong, right? One time it's like, man, maybe he was picking on you. You do not have a case in the court of law. But when he do it 3, 4, 5, 10, several times over, right? What they call that is a pattern. Is a pattern. So in the court of law, in real freaking life, if you have a case to say, hey, this is what this means, this is a habitual pattern, so this is what this means. Listen, all of these celebrities, and it don't be just once, it'd be like several times where they say, or they do, or they take a picture and be like, yo, this the side that I'm on. Now, I could be tripping, but same time, I'm looking at it through that same eyesight where I'm saying, hey, this is a habitual pattern. This is what I can call it. Like, I'm not beating around the bush with it. Like, you could explain it to death all you want, but I mean,
You slapped me in my face once. You could tell me you wasn't trying to fight, but then you did it again. And I told you I didn't like it the first time. But then I seen you cock back for a third time. You think I'm gonna be like, oh, you nigga ain't no explaining that. We going.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We going right here.
Let me ask you this, Black. Ye said that he believes that another culture is taking advantage of our culture. Okay. In record sales and contracts. This is his biggest beef. And he's saying that they're pushing a negative agenda. They're using our negative side of the culture to use against us, to fill prisons, to fill gangs with, and they're only signing artists that do that so that they can make money on both ends of the spectrum, with record sales and with new prisons that's being built. Is he, do you feel like he is more correct on that, or do you feel like he's wrong? What do you think about that, first of all?
Well, first, I definitely believe that he's 100% correct on that. You can look at who controls industries, meaning who controls Hollywood, what nation of people control Hollywood. When I say nation of people, I'm specific to the accusations that he brought forth. He said Jewish people, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he said. Now, if you look at all the top executives that own the interests in these conglomerate-sized companies, not the subsidiaries, but I mean the who holds the masters. And that's an interesting word when dealing with music, copyrights and whatnot, and privilege and collecting interest and residuals off of someone else's creativity. You own the masters. You own the image and the likeness and the name of a whole nother man. Don't that sound familiar?
Yeah.
A lot of these rappers, as we know now, really don't be making a lot of money off their own art, their own music. They got to do shows, they got to go independent now, and they have the platform to do that more or less if they really about that life like that. But for the most part, if you sign to a major label, you're gonna have to get some type of distribution deal, that's in favor of you in order to make a buck these days. But for the most part, you still gotta have controversy added to even get your name up there to the point where they would even sign you, for one thing. And they literally tell these artists, from a lot of the interviews that I've saw, they literally say, go out there, get your name buzzing in the street, get your name cracking in the street, and then come see us. So what you're telling this young artist is, get my name popping in the streets. It's only one way to really do that. You're not gonna have a bake sale and get your name up in the streets. It's only one way to get your name up in the streets, and that's to do street activities. And what that means is the usual suspects. You got to hit the block. You got to move a pack or two. You got to get in some type of street fights. You got to have some gunplay. You got to be on these females in a crazy kind of way. You got to be at your money, and and it can't be no kind of squareness involved in that. It has to be all off the cuff, and it got to be real. Like, listen, all gas, no brakes.
You'll be surprised.
And then you got to rap about that really vividly. And then you got to get a following of people who believe in what you're saying because they eyewitnessing you. And then it's going to be like, okay, now that I got my name out here with all this street activity, which is all evil, it's selfish, it's rooted in selfishness, by the way, because it's all about you trying to get your name up, trying to get your money, but you destroying everybody around you, unbeknownst to you. People can't even live in the same neighborhood comfortably as a person with that kind of mentality, in my opinion. But that's a side note. All I'm saying is, let's say all that stuff do go down. Your name is firing hot right now. It's smoking hot right now. Now they give you a sit down where you can do the Bobby Shmurda performance, and there's a video of him doing his out of jail performance at a boardroom at a listening party in front of all these Caucasian and Jewish execs. And he was jumping on the table like a good little monkey. He was just doing all he did everything but beat his chest and chirp like a chimpanzee. He looked like a little monkey jumping around, and he was, I'll kill this nigga. I'll kill it. And he kept saying the same type of.
And he got out of jail?
No, he got out of jail, and then this was his get a record deal performance, is what I'm saying.
Goodness.
As soon as he got released, he got a sit down where he could demonstrate, because his name was smoke, it was red hot as soon as he got released.
So he was showing he was with the agenda.
Yeah, he was with all that. He was like, dude, I'm finna get on.
Right.
I want a record deal. My name is red hot right now. I'm the one to sign. So he was jumping around and he was wilding. You could pull the video up. And it's like, of course they're gonna sign him, because he's gonna pump all that out into the streets now. And it's gonna be a revolving door of criminality, of a revolving door of self-destruction, self-hate. I'm telling you, me personally, I borderline hate these type of rappers. Borderline hate them. I think they the new coons of our culture.
Yeah.
They are the coons to me.
Yeah. Let me
Straight
ask
up
you.
and down.
Let me ask you this, Sean. You found a genie in a bottle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the genie in the bottle said you had a choice. You could either be Michael Jordan or Kanye West. Which person would you pick?
I'll put the bottle back.
No, you gotta choose one of their lives.
I don't want neither of their lives.
But you gotta choose one, man.
Don't get me wrong. All right. So for those people listening, right, I'm not gonna discredit either one of them. Michael Jordan rose to be one of the greats in basketball. Kanye West rose to be one of the greats in music. They both acquired a lot more money than I got. So shout out to them for, doing their thing, right, and gaining a following, right? But I guess the reason why I say I don't want their lives is because of what I believe to be behind the curtains of their lives, right? And so when it comes to business and when it comes to money, the reason that I asked you about a good old boys club is that just because you're an entertainer, just because you do the happy dance and you make people happy, does not mean that everything is all happy, right? So when you done doing your show and your happy dance and you come and you rest, right? Now is the time to talk turkey for real, right? And so I think Kanye West is about his money, and I think Michael Jordan is about his money. Both have products that people will kill for. Listen, they have products that people will kill for. And that's an interesting concept within itself. Especially when you acquired money in another way that didn't involve this product that people will kill for, right? So for Kanye West, he got money through music, right? People wasn't killing for his CD. People killing for his shoes right now, right? People reselling his shoes for double the price just because they can, because they easy.
Yeah, I know, Sean, but listen. I want you to pick one. Pick one. If you have to pick, it's important. Pick one.
I guess Jordan.
Why?
And that sucks too, because I mean, maybe that's a rumor, and maybe that's where I need to do more research, right? Because I would say Jordan because he has made his money and gone quiet. He did the
Now,
basketball.
is that and that's the point I'm not necessarily I'm trying to make, but that's why I picked Jordan, because he's a billionaire, but he's like quiet, like you said, fell in line. He's not necessarily a man for his people like that, like Kanye is, right?
That part.
I'm not saying I will pick either Jordan, or I'm not saying which one I will pick either, but that's the reason I picked those two guys. As a matter of fact, let me ask you that question, Black. You got the genie, you got to pick one of them. Who would you pick?
Well, I would pick Ye.
Okay.
I mean, if I had to pick, if I had no choice, I would pick Ye because he do music.
Okay.
That's
Just
really
just
it.
mainly because he do music.
Mainly because he do music and he say some stuff, you know, that I agree with from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he takes a stand. I appreciate people who literally take a stand on things. I'm not talking about what's possibly amping, like who put a battery pack in, you know, I ain't talking about all that. I'm just talking about introducing the same people that you're distracting with some seeds of ideas that potentially could grow in a positive, could grow a positive crop eventually, by saying that we the Jews, by saying that, you know, Black people, you know, are Hebrews, we the Israelites, by saying stuff like that. Yeah, you distracting them, but it's something that some of these people have never heard before in their life. And they're like, what is that? And they're going to inquire about that because of his influence. And it's going to be a seed planted to where, wow, they're going to research, and who knows, they could be woken up to a whole different understanding about their lives. Now, yeah, he going to say some things way to the left too, but musically, I think he's dope musically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't talking about all his bars and all that, because we know Sci-Hi writes a lot of them and he pays other people. But the beats, the production is crazy. You know, I don't care about his clothes. I don't know nothing he make. I seen the trash bags. And his shoes was actually based off, and this is a fun fact. His shoes, the Yeezys, were based off Noah's Ark. That's Noah's Ark.
Mm.
That's a boat you're looking at. Noah's Ark is the Yeezy when you look it up.
Interesting.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Like, let me ask you this 2-part question, right? So you say you would rather be Ye because you like people who take a stance.
Yeah.
And initially in my head, I was like, well, what good is a stance? This is part one. What good is a stance if it's on both sides of the field? For one, because like you said, he said we the Jews. In the same time, he's saying white lives matter. And I'm not saying they don't, but we all know in today's temperament, those are definitely two sides of the field. What he's getting.
You gotta look at it like this too. If he has the wherewithal to know that we are the real Israelites, then he has to know.
Shine, so I'm gonna mute you. Go ahead, Black.
If he has the wherewithal to know that so-called Black people are the real Jews, we are the Israelites, then he has to have the wherewithal to know that it is literally a joke call anybody white and to suggest that white lives matter. Like, it's kind of a backwards diss to them. It's kind of like, I'm putting this on display. It's kind of like mockery when you really want to look at it.
Now
from
you
the perspective of somebody who knows better.
So you're saying he's not playing both sides of the fence.
Well, I'm just kind of being an advocate. I'm being a fly on the wall and saying, what if that was the whole point. It's a mockery.
So
Because what they're doing.
That was the second part of my question. My bad to interrupt you, but yeah, that was the second part of my question. So because all this while they've been questioning, is Kanye crazy? But then turn it to this perspective, and my question to you is, or is he genius, right? Because just like you believe, right, in the book, right, we Jews, and it also say that in the end, right, is we gonna need them to overcome what we trying to overcome. We're gonna need everybody we can get. And at the end of the day, I'm not here to say that white lives don't matter, because please don't get me misconstrued. They definitely do. My question to you is he a genius for how he just laid that out on the world? We Jews and also white lives matter. You think he genius?
Well, I think, I'm not gonna say he's genius, because I don't know if he came up with the idea on his own, but what I will say is I watched a couple of even his cohort, old girl Candace Owens, when she was she's done several, she's doing her little spin too in the media. And I'm not saying I rock with everything she say, but she brings up some valid points. What I'm noticing about people who take a stance against popular opinion in today's world is the fact that if you disagree with the masses, of course you're going to catch the most heat, right? That's obvious. But the talking points that she was bringing up in several different interviews that I saw was the detriment of the Black culture and what is making us look so bad. And she brought up examples of female rappers who just walked out of a Black babies. It's like, what? And people praised the rapper, but they disrespected Candace Owens. And then she brought up other things, politically, to where, like all the stuff that we innately know we do and we celebrate, but that are to our absolute detriment. She's pointing it out. And for the most part, people are backlashing her to say, listen, man, this is our culture, this is what we do.
But see, here's the thing though, Black. She probably can get a record deal. And guess who probably signed her? A Jewish company. And this is what Kanye's point is. They're only promoting the negative, the destruction of the community.
100%.
Okay, whether it be at those clinics or whether it be committing those crimes, whatever the detriment is and whatever the destruction of the community is, they get signed. Ain't a whole lot of conscious rappers no more. And this is something he's saying.
This is exactly what he's saying.
And that's the part he's not. Okay, so let me play devil's advocate for a while, right? As a businessman, if I'm a businessman and I think that those destructive songs sold better than those conscious songs, why wouldn't I sign the artists who doing those destructive songs as a businessman?